Hi, I'm Jordan Kushner, and this is the explanation of my Palindrome Lab for Professor Anaji's Introduction to C++ class. So the first function I have is the clean string function. The purpose of the function is to remove all the non-letters from the string the user entered, so that includes things like commas, hyphens, spaces, anything that's not one of the 26 letters in the alphabet. It starts with string s, which is just a blank placeholder string, and the for loop will go through the string letter by letter and or character by character, sorry, and keep only the letters, depositing them into s letter by letter. At the end of it, it'll return string s, now the same string as the one user entered, but without any spaces or special characters. The flip value function, the purpose of it is to take the string the user has entered and flip it around backwards so that we can check later on if it's a palindrome, like being the same forwards and backwards. Again, we have string s, which is a blank placeholder string. The for loop this time will start at the end of the string the user entered and move backwards letter by letter. And it's just going through and taking each letter it's on and then putting it into string s. And at the end of it, string s will be the original string the user entered, except backwards. The converter function, the purpose of it is to convert all the letters the user enters into uppercase letters so that the computer doesn't have to worry about distinguishing between uppercase and lowercase, because from our perspective, it's all the same. Again, we have another blank placeholder string s that'll get filled in as we go. The for loop will go through the original phrase the user entered letter by letter, starting at the beginning. It'll take each capital letter it sees and it'll put it into s, and any lowercase letter it sees, it'll subtract 32 from its ASCII value, and then add that ASCII value, which would be the capital version of the same letter, back to s. At the end of it, s will be filled with the original string the user entered, except in all caps. The Boolean palindrome function. This is the actual function that checks whether or not the phrase is indeed a palindrome. So it starts at two positions, actually, one at the beginning, position 0, and one at the end of the phrase, so it would be phrase.length minus 1. And then it goes through each position, compares the letters at each spot. If they're the same, then x will move forward one letter, and y will move back one letter, and compare them again. If at any point they're different, the values are changed so that x is greater than y, and it'll break the while loop. It'll print red, this is not a palindrome. If the values are the same all the way through, it'll print this is a palindrome, with palindrome written out in the form of palindrome. Main function, that's where all the action happens. We have 4 strings. It goes one as it passes through each different function. The user enters the string they want to test in the test function, and then the character new test that will allow for users to check to see if they want to test another palindrome. If you can see in the while loop, it asks, would you like to test another palindrome, y to continue. And we have it set to y initially so that we can pass through the if loop the first time without having to ask if it would like to test another before we even test one. Here is a picture of a screenshot of the output with everything running properly. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed my Palindrome Lab.